think we'll go ahead and get started. I'm sure we'll probably have some more people connect over the next 5 minutes or so. My name is Robert Wallace. I am the Vice President of the Yolo County Supervisors and Professional Employees Association. And it's my pleasure to represent the board today as we have invited Mark Tomasini, who is with ICMA, to meet with us today and present some information and answer questions on the 457 deferred compensation plans. Grateful for everybody to take the time to be here with us. We know that there's a lot of other things that you could be doing, but it was our hope that we could provide a little bit of extra information to the members of the association, especially along these lines, so that they understood their benefits that are being provided by the county and that they could take advantage of those. We also thought it was very beneficial. Of course, we have CalPERS, but also to be able to, not put all of our eggs in one basket. We can spread out a little bit and diversify, some of our investments. And so that's what we're hoping to accomplish with this meeting today. We also thought it was an excellent opportunity, again, just to get the association together and then provide an opportunity to, meet together and work together as a group. Well, the only thing that I'd like to share with everybody before I turn the time over to Mark is that I will be hosting this meeting. I'll keep an eye on the chat. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask Mark and you don't want to verbally share those, I will share those from the chat. So please feel free to use the chat application. We will be recording this session and providing it to the membership for those who weren't able to join us today. We have some members who are in 24/7 operations who were unable to attend, and they were interested in this, so we will be recording. I will read from the MOU, just to give everybody a quick heads up on what our benefits are from the MOU. This is quoting from section 13.14 on deferred compensation, and specifically from 13.14 starting with 13.14.2. Effective January 1st, 2020, after 1 year of employment, the county shall match an employee's deferred compensation contribution up to $250 per calendar year. And then effective January 1st, 2020, after 15 years of employment, the county shall match an employee's deferred compensation contribution up to $1,000 per calendar year. And then also on that same date of January 1st, 2020, after 20 years of employment, the employee shall receive an annual deferred compensation contribution of $700 contingent upon the employee maximizing the county's deferred compensation match. So that ends up being $1,950 after 20 years of service that the county will match and help contribute to your accounts. So we'll go ahead and turn our time over now to Mark. Again, Mark, thank you so much for being with us here today. I'll go ahead and start the presentation and move those slides along. And again, if you guys have any questions, Mark's your man. So again, thank you, Mark, very much.
You're very welcome. So my name is Mark Tomasini. I'm with ICMA Retirement Corporation, which is moving into a new name. You're gonna be seeing us in your statements. We're Mission Squared Retirement, and so I'm going to go over the basics of your 457 and some of the new options that we have. So if you flip the page, so when you're building your retirement program, they call it the three-legged stool. You have the Social Security, the pension, and your personal savings, which could be rental income, 401ks, 457s, and they call this the three-legged stool. Next page. So your 457 deferred comp, this is how it works. You have two now, so I'm going to go over both sections. The regular 457 is pre-tax contributions go into the account. So before you pay any taxes, it goes into your 457. It grows depending on what the different investments you use, but the best benefit is all the benefits on the pre-tax side are this year because you get to deduct that off your taxes. So at the end of the year, when you get your W-2, the deduction's already taken out of your taxable income. When you go for withdrawals and upon separation of service, you can start withdrawing that money. You'll pay taxes at that time of withdrawal. Withdrawals are not subject to the 10% penalty. So you don't have to wait till you're 59.5 in the 457. You do have to be separated from your employer to start withdrawals. So pre-tax, all the benefits of this year. The Roth 457 option is after tax dollars goes into the Roth side of your 457. Once you've had it 5 years and you cross over 59.5 and separate from employer, tax-free withdrawals on the Roth portion of your 457. So now you have both options. You have the pre-tax, which helps with your taxable income at the end of the year, and you have the Roth option, which is tax-free withdrawals in the future. Both are great. You can contribute both at the same time, and we'll get into more of that later about the limits. Next page. To learn more about the different options, there's lots of different informational videos you can use. So you can go into our library and look at all the different options. There's also an option in there, is it worth using a Roth IRA or a Roth 457? So like I said, wide range of information if you want to explore those different options. Next page. This is an illustration, and this is going to show you how saving early makes a big difference. So a person starting at age 25, 35, 45, and 55, starting to put away $50 bi-weekly, it shows how it gains over time. So the longer you have, the better your investments will through compounding interest and investment growth. The next slide is going to show how you can boost your savings over that same period of time. So if you increased so if you went up $25 annually over the years, it shows how your investments grow from $83,000 to $272,000 by those increases. So it just shows you how compounding interest over time and increasing your investments will grow. Next slide. Oh, keep going, Robert. This just shows, so this is the example of where increasing 25 annually into your 457, it'll start growing over a period of time. Now we're going to go into the limits on the next slide. So 2021 contribution limits are $19,500 for normal contributions. So that's for everybody. And when you're doing this, just remember $19,500 combined, whether you do the pre-tax or the Roth contributions, it's $19,500 total. Now they have what they call an age 50 catch-up. The age 50 catch-up, in the year you're turning age 50, you can increase your 457 to $26,000 per year. There's no qualifying. It's just the IRS allows you an extra $6,500 as you get closer to retirement. And this goes for 401ks, 403bs, and 457s. So it's across the board for all retirement accounts. Now, there's a pre-retirement catch-up. So for the years that you could have maximized your contributions and didn't, it allows you a 3-year window to double down. And it's a 3-year calendar window. So it goes from January to December 31st, and you can double down the unused portion that you could contribute in your career. Let's go to the next page. So now we're going to go into your investment selection. So there's a wide range of options you can use. There's targeted funds. You can use stocks, bonds, stable value funds. There's account management for you. So if you wanted somebody to do it yourself, there's a wide range of options. And if you need that information at the end of this, you can have my contact information. I can send you all kinds of different information depending on what you're looking to do. If you want to build your own, oh, we have a question. What happens if the annual contribution payroll deduction is more than the annual limit? I think payroll would have that on file. I am not sure on that. Usually there's a stop gap with payroll when you hit the max. But you probably have to check with payroll to make sure that they have that in place. Next slide, Robert. So what I was talking about building your own portfolio is there's US stocks, you have international stocks, large caps, mid caps, and then there's fixed incomes. But let me go to the stock funds. So when we talk about small caps are startup companies. Small caps are companies that are 2 billion in assets and under. Mid caps are 2 billion to 10 billion, and then your large caps are 10 billion and up. So there's different categories that you can invest in. Bonds, there's corporate bonds, there's high yield bonds, and then your stable value funds are like juiced up money markets. And then you have your money market funds. Next slide, please. Now, we have advice. So if you wanted to do the advice guidance, there's advice guidance, and then there's fund advice. So there's different ways that you can do it. So when you log into your account and you want to go to like, let's say fund advice, you click on that, it's going to walk you through a bunch of questions. And then at the end, it's going to give you a report on the investments that you would like to choose. So there's different elements that you can use if you choose to use it. And then we have targeted date funds on the next slide. So targeted date funds are like your 2010 funds, your 2030 funds. So if you enrolled into the 457 and you did express enrollment, it's going to default to the fund that sets you up for age 62. So if you're 40 years old, it's going to set you up to go like a 2045 fund. And those are your targeted date, targeted risk funds. Now, on the next slide, it's going to explain a little bit about managed accounts. So we have a program that's called Managed Accounts where you'll have investment advisors that will actively manage the funds for you. There is a fee to that. These are the fund advisors that work with Morningstar. So they rate all your funds, they look at what you're trying to do, and just so you know, if you go into this service, which is a great service, they're managing it to your goals. They're not managing it for rate of return, they're managing it to your retirement goals. And once a quarter, they go back in and they look at what's going on in the marketplace and they make adjustments inside your account. Now that's managed accounts, and it's advisory services that will take you out of the mix, but you need to set it up to your goals. So there's a questionnaire that they go through to find out when you're going to retire, what your retirement's going to look like, and then they manage it to that goal. Next page. This is important. I want to really state that choosing beneficiaries is really important in your account because it avoids probate. So when you set up your beneficiaries and contingents, it will avoid probate costs or any kind of delays. So I always recommend, if anything changes in your personal life, you can choose to change your beneficiaries right online to update it with anything that happens in your situation. You can do it by clicking onto your account. You go to the left, it gives you a menu, and in that menu, you can click on beneficiaries and you can make those adjustments. On the next slide, we're going to talk about back to withdrawals. Now, withdrawals are set up like this. When you get ready to retire upon separation of service, the 457 pre-tax side, you can use it anytime you like. Now, they have what they call the RMD rule, required minimal distribution, and that's age 72. So if you're not taking any withdrawals off any tax sheltered account in the future at age 72, you fall under the RMD rules. Now, on our accounts, we'll let you know what your RMD is. So this just explains about withdrawals. Now, the benefit of this is pre-tax. All the benefits were in the year you used it, on the year you contributed. The Roth, there is no taxable event, so you do not fall under the RMD rules on the 457 Roth side of it. Let's go to the next slide. Get the most from your account. This really explains here the different options. There's a lot of information that you can get online and you can get through your mobile app. So if you downloaded from the store the mobile app onto your phone, you can do a lot of stuff on the phone as well as set up your account. And the nice thing about our mobile app is it's going to give you the same information as you see when you log on to your account. So that's one of the neat benefits about our mobile app. It's not a different format, it's the same format. As well as there's a lot of retirement education that you can get right through our education center. So to take the next step, on the next page, you can review your savings goals. If you're not participating, you can get enrolled today. This shows you how you get on track. At the end of this presentation, I'm going to send out, it's a quick little video. It's about 4 or 5 minutes long. So I'm gonna send some information on the 457 Roth, pre-tax, individual appointments, and how to get enrolled. So I will be sending out some additional information that you guys can have. Next slide. If you need to contact me with any questions, this is my contact information, my phone number. I'm easy to get a hold of. Just to let you know, I usually get back to you within the second day. So if you email me a question today or something, I don't get to you by the next day, somehow I didn't get it because I'm very good at responding. Any questions on this so far? I know we covered quite a bit of information, but I just wanted to reiterate the pre-tax side, all the benefits are this year. You're going to have an instant tax deduction. On the pre-tax side, money goes in before you pay your taxes. So if your paycheck's like $2,000 a month and you did, $2,000 a paycheck and you did $50 a paycheck, you'd probably miss maybe 22 to 28 out of your take home because it's pre-tax, comes off top of your gross, then they start your deductions. On the 457 Roth side, if you're gonna do $50 is coming out of your budget because you pay the taxes, then it goes in to your 457 account and starts growing. Now I did see a question come in. Do you have that question?
Sorry, just a second. Let me change the screen here. Okay, so Dina Timko says, can we decide what type our employer puts the matching into Roth versus traditional type?
No. All matches always go to the pre-tax side. Yeah, so you don't have a choice on that. And that goes with 401ks, 403bs, all matches always go to the pre-tax side.
And then there was an additional question from Nancy. Can we have a 457 and a 401k?
No, not with, well, okay. let me get a little more specific with this. Yes, if you had another job that was in the private sector. Because in municipalities, 457s cover cities, counties, water districts, municipalities. That's your 457s. 401ks represent the private sector. 403bs are churches, hospitals, schools. So As far as the county goes, no. But if you had another side job that you're working and had a 401k, yes, you could do both. So I just want to clarify, kind of, sort of, but not here.
Okay. Another question from Dina, is the growth in the Roth also tax-free when we withdraw funds?
Correct. So and this is what's really neat with your guys' plans. When you log on to your account and you go to contributions, you're gonna be able to designate how much you want to go to the pre-tax side, how much you want to go to the Roth side. When you go in to manage your investments, you have the ability to choose where you want your investments to go on the pre-tax side and where you want your contributions to go on the Roth side. So you can separate out both contributions. So that's a neat feature as well. Once you come up into retirement, the pre-tax side, because you never pay taxes on it, you will pay taxes on it as you use it. So if you use $500 a month on the pre-tax side, you're going to pay $500 in taxes on that pre-tax side. On the 457 Roth side, tax-free withdrawals, once you cross over 59.5 and you no longer work for the county. So yes, tax-free withdrawals.
Okay, that's all the questions we had from the chat right now. I know we had one more slide left. Did you want to, was there one more slide you wanted to talk about, or was the contact page good enough?
No, I think the contact page is good enough. The other one's just more about questions and thank you for ICMA. It's, you know, that's why I kind of like to stop on the information page because it has your phone number and email. But I did see another question come in.
Yeah, so Dina followed up again. If we have both, can we decide which we want to withdraw from?
Yes. Okay. Great question. Because you do have the ability on the withdrawal form, you can select the pre-tax side or the Roth side. So yes, you do have that ability. And you can do a combination. It's whatever you feel works best in your situation. Yes.
And then Raquel just posted, if you use the withdrawal for college, do you still pay taxes?
Not if you're 59.5. Once you cross over that, yes, because you're thinking the Roth IRA. Because here's the challenge. Because you're still employed, the 457, you couldn't do withdrawals yet. Now, if you had a Roth IRA, that's an individual retirement account and you're contributing to that, yes, you can pull money out of your Roth IRA for college expenses. Or they call it further education, however you want to do that. Another benefit of a outside Roth IRA is if you had one, is that you could pull out your original contributions tax-free as well because you already paid taxes on it. So if you did $1,000 a year over the next 5 years and you wanted to pull some money out of your outside Roth, you could pull up to $5,000 out of that account because you already paid taxes on it. And because it's an individual retirement account not tied to the county, you can access that money anytime you want. This gives you the convenience of contributing to the 457 Roth at any amount you want, but there is limitations because you're still working. Once you separate from the county, then all your options start opening up. And one of the benefits of the pre-tax 457 is if you went to another agency and you're still not 59.5, so let's say at 50, you go work somewhere else, the pre-tax side of the 457, there's no age restrictions on withdrawals. So you can access that money anytime as long as you separated from the county, but you would have to pay taxes on it, but no early withdrawal penalties. Huge benefit on the 457.
Gene Weiss posts, upon retirement from the county, can your vacation and comp time cash out be placed into the 457 to avoid taxes that calendar year.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. Yes, it's called final pay. Now, this is the key to this, and this is important. You remember the 457 double down where you can do $39,000 a year? If you had a big vacation bank and you wanted to put in that pre-tax, you could do that and set up your pre-retirement catch-up, the double down. Here's the thing though, the IRS does not allow you to set up the 457 pre-retirement catch-up, the double down, 39,000, in the same year you're going to declare retirement. So yes, you can do the final pay and save some money on taxes by putting it in to your 457 pre-tax. And if you have a bigger bank and you want to double down, you're going to have to plan out the pre-retirement double down catch-up year prior to your retiring. So yes, you could do that. Any other questions?
I have a question regarding the county match that Rob was speaking about earlier.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Ron.
So I just passed my 15-year mark. So that date, 2020, does that retro back to when I started and they'll start doing the higher matches? Or is it as of 2020 after you put in 15 years? So now we're at 2035. Is that when that begins?
No, I believe that if you have 15 years of service at this point, that you will get that match.
Okay. Is that something I'd have to just check in with like our payroll liaison or whatever to see when I should expect to see those matches? Or do you have any idea when those come through?
I believe, and maybe Mark, you have more information than I do, but I believe that once you go through payroll and you start those deductions, you just need to keep an eye on it to make sure that they're matching it once you pass those thresholds of 15 and 20 years.
You are correct. That's my understanding, is that if you're contributing to your 457, it automatically gets set up. That is my understanding too, as well.
Okay, cool. And then Mark, if I'm in managed funds, which I think I am, are we no longer dealing with you? We're dealing with somebody at your corporate level or whatever. They're the ones who are making the suggestions as to where we should be moving investments around in, or are we still talking to you?
No, I would still be that point of contact, because I could go inside and see what's going on. And if, depending on what the situation was, we would move forward from there. But no, I would be your point of contact at all times, because they're kind of in the back doing their thing off your goals. But if your goals change and we need to make adjustments, we could have that conversation and make those adjustments. But yeah, I'm the point of contact. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, do we have any other questions for Mark today? So if not, what I'd like to do is I'll go back and I'll reshare my screen here so that people can see the contact information again. Let's go ahead and put that up. When I share my screen, I can't see the chat anymore. So if you have any other questions, please feel free to vocalize. The contact information there is on the screen. Again, Mark, thank you so much for taking some time to meet with us today and to review some of the details of these deferred compensation plans.
Absolutely, my pleasure, because this is good information. And I'm going to be sending out a follow-up email, and it'll have my scheduling appointment in it and quick 2 little short videos, one on the pre-tax and one on the Roth for people that didn't attend today.
Excellent. Okay, well, if there are no other questions, and Mark, if you're good, I think we'll go ahead and wrap up.
Yeah, if there's no other questions, we're good. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for attending. And let me know if you have any questions in the future through email or call me.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Mark. Appreciate it.
You got it. Bye-bye.